Well, hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of City Skylines with me, Mr. Potato Head, and we're here in the city of Birna Tarn for another episode where we're going to be doing something a little bit different today. We're not going to be expanding the city or growing the city too much. What we're going to be doing is trying to build a couple of new roads. We've been experiencing some traffic issues in previous episodes, and really the reason for that is, if you look at this overview here, we're one big cul-de-sac. We've got one entrance into the city, one way in, one way out, so no matter where you're going, whether you're going to Takani City, Birna Woods, Birna Tarn, the industry area, you have to come through that one arterial road and everything's being funneled through that one interchange. So we're going to add in two new connections, one new highway interchange, but two connections, one straight into the industry area and one that's more generic, can have access to the industry but also access to the town, and I think that's really going to help us. So let's jump straight in and see what we can do. So you can see here, there's kind of a natural slope in the land anyway. So we're going to come up here, come around and connect in by the big factory here. And we've got some challenges because of the terrain, but the way we're going to fix it is by picking a topographic line, which is kind of in the middle of our two heights, getting our flatten terrain tool, and for the most part, we're just going to flatten it like this. So we're not going to have to worry about any lumps or bumps or anything like that for the vast majority of building this road, because we've flattened it out. So we'll just delete these trees as well, so it's nice and clear. So you can see that's where the main body of the road is going to go. So now we just need to think about joining up the two areas. So we're going to need to move this ore storage eventually, because we're going to follow the road straight through and connect up to that other arterial we have. But for now, let's just upgrade this road. Oops, not going to let me do it. I might have to delete some roads just because there's some little weird nodes in there. Upgrade that, and that will carry on straight through. We'll get to moving that in a moment. Maybe over here. Yeah, we'll be able to put it in there. I think we'll just have to flatten out a bit of land. Probably not going to be its permanent home for it, but it will do for now. We'll do that and then we'll move it back at a later date. And then this will slope from the height of the arterial just from down here. Easy peasy, no trouble with that. And then we can connect straight in, straight road. And we'll just use our freeform road to come in at a 90. Excellent. Right, and now we need to think about how we're going to connect up this main body, and it's just going to be a simple slope like that. That'll be fine. So we'll draw our connection in like this, and then we can just do a nice straight low road along this flat area that we've got. Same again here, we're just going to kink out because there's a bit of I think it's like a castle tower or something there that we're just coming around a little bit. And we'll upgrade this to a highway so that it's nice and fast, so that people are choosing to use it. And then this is where it gets a bit tricky. We're going to have to flatten out because we're going to build something down here, some kind of interchange down here. But for now, let's just work out where this road's going to go. And that's basically going to do that. In fact, let's just delete this. Let's come up the hill first with a straight road and then do a nice connection there. Excellent. So that's a good connection we've got. This is going to turn into a collector road. I don't think anything's loading onto it at the moment, so that's great. We can just upgrade that to one of these new 4-lane 2U roads that we've got, and that'll be nice. And then again, if we just reorient some of these things, we can upgrade this road a little bit as well. Come on, turn around. I'm struggling to get it to face the way I want it to. There we go. That's good. Yeah, and then actually if we delete that and just make this a little cul-de-sac road for access to that storage, that's one less connection onto our arterial, and I think that's pretty good. We'll just add in some stop signs so that we've got the priorities, and I think that's looking pretty good. So I'm happy with that, but there's another connection I want to make, and it's going to come off this same interchange from the same area down there, but we're going to run over straight into the industry area. So again, we're going to pick a topographic line. We've got to avoid this rock, so maybe around kind of this line here, and yeah, that will work quite nicely. So exactly the same thing, just going to flatten it out, and terrain becomes a lot less challenging when you follow a topographic line. You know, we could quite easily try and carve a straight line through the rock, and we'd either have to do a ridiculous amount of terraforming, or we'd have some big old slopes or something. But doing it this way, we've kind of respected the nature, the way that the land is. We'll clear out these roads, and then all you've got to do is a small slope one end, a small slope the other end, and then the vast majority of the road's absolutely fine. So I'm just going to smooth out this slope alongside the highway because we're going to have another road run parallel to it, and then that's going to connect up to this other road. So we'll smooth it all out. Okay, and then I'll use a dirt road, and then we're going to make it run parallel without any mods. It's really easy. You just use the freeform road tool and make your lines, use the road guidelines and just add up node by node, make them match up like that, and it will be perfectly parallel. And then we'll slope up from this section down to there. And there you go. Run a bit of a straight line this way, and then link those two up. And then we'll work out this bend as well. So that road's going to kind of go this way. This is the main bend we've got. Perfect, and then let me draw in the rest of this road. So at the end of the road here, I'm going to upgrade it to an asymmetric road so that traffic coming off this arterial, whether they're going right or left, they can choose. And again, this bit, it's not perfect, but it's close enough, and we'll work it out eventually. And we can also, in the future, there's an opportunity to expand up there as well, so that's good. But now we need to work out the highway interchange and how we're going to connect these roads to the highway. So let's have a think, and I think the best bet is going to be some kind of trumpet leading into a roundabout. There you go. So there's a roundabout leading into those two new roads we've built. So now we just have to work out this trumpet interchange, and we've not got a lot of space, but I think we've got enough to make it work. It might not be the prettiest thing in the world, but it doesn't have to be. You know, I said this with the other interchange we were building last time, as long as it's functional, that's the main thing. So as promised, not the prettiest thing in the world, but it's going to be functional. I think it's a really important connection and it will work. That's the main thing. It's going to work. With a bit of details, we can make it look slightly nicer. I'm not going to worry about getting it perfectly symmetrical or anything like that, but we'll just add in a couple of priorities and delete those road guidelines. And I think this should work really nicely. Okay, the next thing is this road, because this is truly ridiculously steep, and I don't know why the game even allows you to build it that steep. You can see no one really uses it, it just seems to be a bus route going up there. So I'm just going to delete that connection, and I think what that means is we can now delete these roads back a bit, and we're going to have kind of one smooth road run all the way along here, along the front of this bit of the industry area. So we've got a real arterial connection right into the heart of our industry area with no disruptions or anything like that. So let's just connect this up in a nice smooth way as much as possible. And then the only thing we've got on there is this main industry building. So that's obviously where a lot of the garbage and everything goes. So we'll move that onto a less busy road. But other than that, I think that's a really nice connection. This is going to turn into quite an important collector by the looks of it. So we are going to just do the same as we were doing before, move a few things around so nothing's loading onto it. Have a few kind of side roads coming off it, and upgrade it to something with a bit more capacity. That one is loading onto the collector, so if we just add a small road around the back of it, that won't be a problem. Then we should be able to spin it around. Yep. And then what have we got here? So that one, yeah, that's not going to fit. So let's just carve out a bit more land. We'll be able to make that fit really easily because we don't want anything loading onto that collector at all. Perfect. That will fit in there. Nothing's loading onto that. And that's going to work really nicely. So I'm really happy with the way this has turned out. We're just going to reroute some of these roads to avoid too many connections onto our collector. But I think that's good. I'm happy with that. So we're probably at the point where we can click play. And I think we're going to see use from this immediately. Let's have a look. Yeah, look at that. Straight away, we've got people the road's only been open for 5 minutes. Straight away, we've got people using it. All of these people would have been filtered through that other interchange before. They'd have had to gone through those busy junctions that we have afterwards, causing trouble. And now they can go straight round. Let's jump in with this car and drive along the new road and see how it goes. No traffic, no worries. Bit of a nice deer on the right-hand side of the road there. Yeah, much easier for them to get into that side of town, much smoother, not having to go through all of, the buildings that we have. And here, this guy's going along the other road. Let's just jump in with him and check there's nothing too wild going along. This road's not too steep, a bit lumpy and bumpy, but nothing too bad. And there you go again, really nice. And this is straight into the heart of the ore industry. So that's exactly what I wanted from it. It's going to get busy. You can see this is still busy, but it's a lot less busy than it was. So there's still loads of cars using it, but hopefully over time more traffic will start to use the other highway interchange, and we're going to see this as a really beneficial connection already. So I'm just going to add a few things in. I think we need a fence along here so that traffic wouldn't drive into each other if there are any issues or anything like that. And there's some pretty sudden sheer drops off the edge of these roads, so let's just add fences along here as well, and a few details, and I'll be right back with you. Okay, and the other thing is just electricity. We're running a bit low on it, and you can see here there's lots of opportunities for us now just to pop in a few wind turbines, connect up some power lines along the side of the road here, and that's going to benefit the city. And I think it looks really cool as well. Just it's not dead space anymore, it's functional space, so that's great. I'm really happy with how this has turned out. A pretty simple build for you today, but we're going to leave it here. We'll have a quick city tour of what we've done today, but other than that, I'll see you next time.